Welcome to the first ever DraftKings Pick6 tutorial. Nate and I are going to be running through this new DFS Pick'em style offering from DraftKings, taking a look at the ins and outs, how to use the platform, and we'll be getting into some strategy videos here moving forward. But in this one, we're just going to kick it off with exactly what it is. So Nate, why don't you jump in and tell us exactly what is DraftKings Pick6?
Yeah, I mean, so the biggest difference is it's peer-to-peer versus against the sportsbook or against the house, which you have with some other of these pick'em contests. So, I mean, once these props are up, they're just up. They don't change. It's just a user contest where, like, can you pick props better than everybody else in this contest? And that is what Pick6 is. You're just picking player props, as you see there, yeah, with the NFL props up for Thursday night. It's just over or under. I mean, when you get on bigger slates, you have to deal more. You have more options. So there's a few requirements in terms of, like, you have to pick at least multiple guys from different teams. You can't pick over a certain amount from the same team and just stack indefinitely. You can't pick the same player twice. You can't go like under on two different props for Lamar Jackson. Right. But yeah, I mean, there is a bit of an edge here in that they don't change. They're just up for the whole day, the whole week. Sometimes they will add props as the week goes. And once you've got your lineup, you decide if you want 2 to 6 picks, the 2 picks being the lowest possible payout, 6 picks being the highest. And then you score basically against everybody else in that contest. The contests are all $1. You can put $10 on one lineup, though, and that goes into 10 contests. You can put $50 in 50 contests. And then, yeah, you'll score against other people. Usually you need to only get one wrong or no wrong to get a payout, and it will show you that estimated payout based of how good your picks are.
Right, 100%. So I think the key things there are every entry that you make, the amount of is $1. So if you put $10 down, you have 10 entries, right? And those get spread throughout the different contests that are live, peer-to-peer contests that are live. When you get to, so this lineup that I already made right here, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, I took both their over on passing yards. Not saying that's the pick I'm making, just putting that out there for the example. And these two now are going to be thrown into 10 different contests with this exact lineup, right? So in order to get 2 correct, I need to get both of these quarterbacks to go over passing yards. If one of them goes over and I go 1 for 2, then I'll get a smaller payout, which we'll talk about here in a minute. As far as the payouts work, you can win a bunch more on DK Pick6 than you can on a lot of other DFS sites, mainly because it's peer-to-peer. So if your peers don't succeed and do well, obviously you're in a great position to go ahead and win some money. I'm going to use this example real quick for a two pick set that I made here with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson over on their passing yards for Thursday Night Football. What I did was put $10 in. We mentioned this a minute ago. That means I have 10 entries now, all $1 in 10 different contests. If you want to see exactly how that might work, you don't get the exact payout number right away because they need to have everybody fill up all of the contests to know how many entries they have, to know the size of the pool that they have. Once they have the full size of the pool down and they have it full or as full as it's going to be, then they know a lot more what the payouts are going to be. So for example, in this is one of the contests that my entry went into. Right now it says there's about $1,000 in total prizes available. The top tier would be getting 2 right. The next tier would be getting 1 of 2. And then if you get none right, you're likely not going to win any money. But they'll say probably if you get 2 out of 2 correct here, you will have the opportunity to win. Let's say of the $1,000, they set aside $800 for whoever gets 2 out of 2 correct. Then they set aside $200 for whoever gets 1 out of 2 correct, right? So every participant that gets 2 out of 2 correct is going to split an $800 prize pool. That's what they decided. It's 80% of the total prizes. So in that situation, if 10 people win, right, get 2 out of 2 correct here, only 10, then they would split that $800 between the 10 of them, $80 a pop, right? And $80 a pop, and we're good to go. So that's how the prize payouts work here. And like I said, the opportunity to win more money comes from the fact that this was just one of my entries. If I'm the only person to get 2 out of 2 correct, I get that $800 to myself. Obviously, the more people in there, the bigger the prize pools and the bigger the payouts.
Yeah, and these are all guaranteed prize pools. It's important to mention so that, like, yeah, you are usually going up against hundreds or thousands of people, but if for some reason they don't fill, you still have the same opportunity to get that same amount of the prize pool. I mean, yeah, what you got into there was that getting 2 out of 2 when nobody else did, is a little bit of the contrarian stuff you can talk about with strategy. Something that comes into play with DFS is like, I'm going to take picks that nobody else has the balls to take, and therefore go for a bigger payout. And so that's kind of how you pick your projected prize pool. I mean, it's a lot of math to figure out the exact potential payout, and that's part of the critique of this platform is like, I don't really know how much I'm going to make, but at some level, like, you don't have to worry about it. Like, if you get them right, you're going to make some money, and you'll find out how much, and you can follow it along. When you click on my pick set at the bottom, you can see if you're winning, how much you might win. And if you don't get them right, you ain't winning. So it's just like kind of roll with it and see how much you can get.
Yep, 100%. And one more thing I would add too is obviously there is a form of a VIG here, right? There is going to be a percentage of the pot taken off the top and handed to DraftKings as a part of their job in all of this, right? So keep that in mind as well, that if you're doing that math as well as you can, account for the fact that the book takes a little bit off the top of the total prize pool.
Yeah, so where can you play? How do you sign up? Right now, it is available in more states than not, 29 states and District of Columbia, and 12 Canadian provinces as well. So if you happen to be in one of those states where you can't play, then I guess you skip ahead of this. But it is being legalized in more states, including Connecticut most recently, I believe, this July. And pretty simple. You just kind of download the app and your funds will transfer. If you already have a DraftKings Sportsbook or DFS account, right, your funds transfer right over there, but you still are eligible for the welcome bonus, which currently, they've shifted it a lot. At the moment, right now, it's just you play $5 and you get $50 to play with in bonus bets. Those bonus bets used on the site, they will expire after about 14 days, I believe. So it's just free money to play with after you get started. It doesn't matter if your first pick set wins or lose, you just get that extra money. They also have a bunch of promotions for each sport. If there's a big slate, you'll see like a Thursday night football promotion, they had for the World Series, etc. You can get bonus bets if you refer a friend and get them in there. And they have a separate Dynasty rewards program where every $5 you spend gets you credits that are basically more bonus bets. So incentives to keep playing there, but it's kind of simple that it's just the same bankroll as your DFS and sportsbook account, so that you don't feel like you have to like invest in this pick in this app specifically. It's just like, if you're playing on those other things, like, you might as well give this one a look. And sometimes you can leverage the prices on this sportsbook and on the DFS and be like, okay, I see some value here, and just kind of look at them all together.
Yeah, that's some really interesting stuff. The fact that you can really compare DraftKings lines to other DraftKings lines in a way to see if you're getting some value. I think that's really smart. Think of it as being at the blackjack table, wanting to stand up with the same chips that you have in your hand and go play Pai Gow instead. That's basically what DraftKings allows you to do between Pick6 and the regular sportsbook. So how does DraftKings Pick6 differ from other platforms such as PrizePicks? It's pretty simple. We've mentioned a lot of them. One is going to be the peer-to-peer nature. That's going to be the biggest difference that you'll find. You're not going up against a sports book. You're placed into contests against other people. The difference between this and other DFS sites such as regular DraftKings DraftKings DFS, I should say, is the fact that you're not necessarily picking lineups in DraftKings Pick6, right? You're just picking over-unders. That's how it's similar to something like PrizePicks. But everywhere else, it's very different right now. The available sports are different. As DraftKings Pick6 continues to integrate different sports into it, it'll catch up to a platform like PrizePicks. You've also got the difference in the payout structure. You have a fixed payout in PrizePicks, which we just went over, how that differs in DraftKings Pick6. You're not known exactly what you're going to get right off the bat. It depends how many people are placed into your contest. Whereas with PrizePicks, you know exactly what number you're going to get based on what the odds are for your bets there. Usually about minus 137 on PrizePicks. And the promos, those are a little bit different between DraftKings Pick6 and something like PrizePicks. You might find PrizePicks with slightly bigger bonus bets, larger in size, maybe $150 in free bonus bets, as opposed to the $50 you get on DraftKings Pick6. However, the key is you're risking less on Pick6 here. You only need to spend $5 to get the free $50 in bets.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest thing is off the top is that you're peer-to-peer, not against the book, which inevitably is going to give you some more opportunities to find value because the book isn't as worried. DraftKings gets its vig regardless of what happens. Like, PrizePicks has to be on top of any inconsistencies in the line, get on top of those and get them get them rectified so that it doesn't get burned. But yeah, you're really just testing your knowledge against other people, which is kind of, part of the appeal. If you talk about, like, I'll also mention how it's different from DFS, which, also pits knowledge against knowledge. But more and more so, like, algorithms have come into play with daily fantasy sports, right? Where it's just like projections, like the most advanced systems. And if you're not playing on that level, it doesn't matter if your intuition is as good and you can get 5 of 5. So I mean, I think Pick6 kind of levels the playing field in that regard. And it's just saying, like, what's your intuition here? Like, of course you have numbers and projections to plug in and considerations to make, but, like, can you just pick them better than your peers and make some money off that?
Yep. And I don't have to compare, is Lamar Jackson going to have a better day than Joe Burrow? I just need to know if Lamar Jackson is going to get more or less than 232.5 passing yards. That's all the time we have in our opening tutorial here for DraftKings Pick6. Hopefully you found this useful and were able to take something away to get started. Make sure you do check out the other videos on the channel that we have right now showing you even more in terms of strategy and simple things like how to sign up and potentially how to spend that money when you're playing DraftKings Pick6. So continue to follow along. Check all the rest of these videos out so you know exactly what you're doing here. And until we see you next, happy betting.